The .357 SIG pistol cartridge is the product of Swiss-German firearms manufacturer SIG Sauer, in cooperation with the American ammunition manufacturer Federal Cartridge. While it is based on a .40 S&W case neck down to accept 0.355-inch bullets, the .357 SIG brass is slightly longer by 0.009 into 0.020 in total. The cartridge is used by a number of law enforcement agencies and has a good reputation for both accuracy and stopping power. History: developed in 1994, the new cartridge was named 357 to highlight its purpose, to duplicate the performance of 125-grain .357 Magnum loads fired from 4-inch barreled revolvers, in a cartridge designed to be used in a semi-automatic pistol with greater ammunition capacity than a revolver. Performance is similar to the 9A, 23mm Winchester. Other than specialized competition cartridges like the 9A, 25mm Dillon, which necked a 10mm auto case down to a 9mm bullet, the .357 SIG was the first modern bottleneck commercial handgun cartridge since the early 1960s, when Winchester introduced a .257 caliber round based on the .357 Magnum, the now obsolete .256 Winchester Magnum. Then Remington introduced the unsuccessful .22 Remington Jet, which necked a .357 Magnum case down to a .22 caliber bullet, and the .221 Remington Fireball, a shortened version of their .222 Remington. Soon after the .357 SIG, other bottleneck commercial handgun cartridges appeared, the .400 Corbin, necking the .45 ACP down to .40 caliber. The .440 Corbin, necking down the .50 AE to .44 caliber. The .32 NAA, necking the .380 ACP down to .32 caliber. And the .25 NAA, necking the .32 ACP down to .25 caliber. Cartridge dimensions: the .357 SIG has 1.27 ml cartridge case capacity. .357 SIG maximum CIP cartridge dimensions. All sizes in millimeters. Americans would define the shoulder angle at alpha/2 = 18 degrees. The common rifling twist rate for this cartridge is 406 mm, 6 grooves, a lands equals 8.71 mm, a grooves equals 9.02 mm, land width equals 2.69 mm, and the primer type is small pistol. Several sources have published contradicting information regarding .357 SIG head spacing. This is due to originally designed as .357 round but has been rapidly adapted to .355 bullet. According to the official CIP 2007 rulings, the .357 SIG head spaces on the shoulder. Some U.S. sources concur this CIP ruling. U.S. reloading supplier Lyman once published the .357 SIG head spaces on the case mouth. According to the CIP rulings, the .357 SIG case can handle up to 305 MPa piezo pressure. In CIP-regulated countries, every pistol cartridge combo has to be proofed at 130% of this maximum CIP pressure to certify it for sale to consumers. The SAAMI pressure limit for the .357 SIG is set at 275.80 MPa piezo pressure. Conversions: most .40 S&W pistols can be converted to .357 SIG by replacing the barrel, but sometimes the recoil spring must be changed as well. Pistols with especially strong recoil springs can accept either cartridge with a barrel change. Magazines will freely interchange between the two cartridges in most pistols. .357 SIG barrel kits have allowed this cartridge to gain in popularity among handgun owners. However, the .357 SIG is loaded to higher pressures than the .40 S&W, and may not be suitable for use in all .40 S&W chambered pistols due to the increase in bolt thrust. Performance: the table below shows common performance parameters for several .357 SIG loads. Bullet weights ranging from 115 to 150 grains have been offered. Loads are available with energies from 488 foot-pounds force to over 568 foot-pounds force, and penetration depths from 9 inches to over 16.5 inches are available for various applications and risk assessments. Key: expansion a expanded bullet diameter. Penetration a penetration depth. PC a permanent cavity volume. TSC a temporary stretch cavity volume. Because of its relatively high velocity for a handgun round, the .357 SIG has an unusually flat trajectory, extending the effective range. However, it does not quite reach the performance of the .357 Magnum with bullets heavier than 125 grains. Offsetting this general slight disadvantage in performance is that semi-automatic pistols tend to carry considerably more ammunition than revolvers. The Virginia State Police has reported that attacking dogs have been stopped dead in their tracks by a single shot, whereas the former 147-grain 9mm duty rounds would require multiple shots to incapacitate the animals. Proponents of a hydrostatic shock theory contend that the energy available in the .357 SIG is sufficient for imparting hydrostatic shock with well-designed bullets. Users have commented, "We're really impressed with the stopping power of the .357 SIG round." The bottleneck shape of the .357 SIG cartridge makes feeding problems almost non-existent. This is because the bullet is channeled through the larger chamber before being seated entirely as the slide goes into full battery. Flat point bullets are seldom used with other autoloader platforms because of feeding problems. However, such bullets are commonly seen in the .357 SIG chambering and are quite reliable, as are hollow point bullets. The Accurate Powder Reloading Manual claims that it is without a doubt the most ballistically consistent handgun cartridge we have ever worked with. Characteristics. The goal of the .357 SIG project was to offer a level of performance equal to the highly effective 125-grain .357 Magnum load. The .357 SIG accomplishes this with a 125-grain bullet at a muzzle velocity of 1,450 feet per second out of a 4-in barrel, which is generally identical to the velocity achieved by standard factory 125-grain .357 Magnum loads out of a 4-in revolver barrel. With a simplistic approach to physics, recoil being directly proportional to muzzle velocity x bullet mass, the recoil of the .357 SIG is equal to or slightly less than that of a .40 S&W, and less than that of the full-power 10mm auto-loads or the original .357 Magnum handgun recoil table as well as street stoppers. This simple approach to recoil is incomplete since the properties of the bullet alone do not determine the felt recoil, but also the rocket-like blast of propellant gases coming out of the barrel after the bullet leaves the muzzle. A more accurate view on recoil is that it is proportional to the mass of all ejector x velocity of ejector. Even so, recoil calculated in this manner is only the starting point in a comparison with the .357 Magnum cartridge, since the latter is used in a revolver, in which the recoil energy is due to the bullet and propellant-less ejector escaping between the cylinder and breech, while the .357 SIG cartridge is used in a semi-automatic pistol with recoil operation. Here, a significant portion of the recoil energy is diverted to cycle the action, effectively prolonging the recoil phase pulse. Of course, other considerations affect the user's perceived recoil, such as the weight of the weapon, front-to-back balance, moving mass, height difference between the shooter's grip parallel to the barrel, and grip. In comparing the energy levels of premium self-defense ammunition, the muzzle energy of 584 FTA pound force of the 125 grains 1,450 feet per second .357 SIG load is greater than either the 475 FTA pound force generated by a 155 grains 1,175 feet per second Speer Gold. .40 seconds and W load or the 400 FTA pound force generated by a 180 grains 985 feet per second. Speer Gold. .40 S and W load. Like the 10mm auto, the .357 SIG can be downloaded to reduce recoil to the point where recoil is similar to that of a 9A, 19mm Parabellum. However, since the .357 SIG uses bullets that are generally the same as those used in the 9mm para, downloading it to this point would defeat the purpose of fielding the SIG cartridge, as the .357 SIG casing was designed to handle up to 160 grains bullets, whereas the less powerful 9mm maxes out at 147 grains bullet weight in subsonic loads. Because the .357 SIG fires at relatively high pressures, muzzle flash and report can be significant with standard loads, even with longer barrels. Utilizing loads with specialized powders and various bullet weights might reduce flash. Implementation. In 1994, SIG released the P229 pistol, the first production handgun introduced that was chambered in .357 SIG and specifically designed to handle the higher pressures of that round. From 1991 to 1998, the Texas Department of Public Safety issued either the SIG Sauer P220 in .45 ACP or the SIG Sauer P226 in 9mm parabellum at the trooper's discretion. In 1998, the Texas DPS transitioned to the all-steel, full-sized SIG Sauer P226 chambered in the .357 SIG cartridge as the solitary choice of pistol for commissioned officers. In doing so, the Texas DPS became the first government agency to deploy a firearm utilizing the then relatively new .357 SIG chambering. However, in 2013 the Texas DPS decided to replace their .357 SIG handguns with 9mm handguns. The ability to carry more rounds per magazine in a lighter gun were among the stated reasons for the change. That transition was suspended after recruits in the A2014 class, the first to train with the new S&WM and P 9mm polymer handguns, experienced numerous malfunctions with those weapons. The newer SIG Sauer P229 in .357 SIG has been adopted for use by agents and officers of the following national and state law enforcement organizations: United States Secret Service, Federal Air Marshals, Bureau of Industry and Security, Delaware State Police, Montana Highway Patrol, Texas Ranger Division, Virginia State Police. The Tennessee Highway Patrol currently issues the Glock 31 pistol chambered in .357 SIG. The Mississippi Highway Patrol issues the Glock 31 Gen 4 in .357 SIG. The Bedford Heights Police Department in Ohio currently issues the Glock 31-33. The Ellery Police Department in South Carolina also issues the Glock 31 in .357 SIG. And the Madison Police Department in Madison, West Virginia issues the Glock 32 in .357 SIG. The Gouverneur Police Department in New York issues the Glock 32. The Lexington Police Department in North Carolina issues the SIG Sauer P229 Dark in .357 SIG. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol and Rhode Island State Police issue the SIG Sauer P226 in .357 SIG. The Paramus Police Department in New Jersey also issues the SIG P229 in .357 SIG. The West Grove Borough Police Department, West Grove, Pennsylvania, also carry the SIG Sauer P229 in the .357 SIG caliber. Both the New Mexico State Police and the North Carolina State Highway Patrol use SIG Sauer P229s chambered in .357 SIG. The Herculaneum Police Department uses the P229 and P226 in .357 SIG. The Coral Springs Police Department in Florida uses the SIG P226 and P229 Enhanced Elite pistols chambered in .357 SIG. The Orlando Police Department uses the SIG Sauer P229 in .357 SIG. In July 2014 it was announced that the North Carolina State Highway Patrol will equip its 1,600 officers with the SIG Sauer P226 in .357 SIG. See also, List of firearms, List of handgun cartridges, Table of handgun and rifle cartridges, 9mm caliber, .357 Super Mag, .357 Remington Maximum, .357 Magnum, 9A, 25mm Dillon. References External links, ballistics by the inch. .357 SIG results.